Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel, to my live reaction, to my instant reaction and play Reddick's live stream following Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. My apologies, guys, for there not being a post-match reaction stream to our loss against Aston Villa. Now, on the one hand, I was fuming, but if anything, I would have liked to speak, but I was ill as fuck. And I also missed the first 10 minutes of the game because I was stuck in traffic driving home from Switzerland, visiting my girlfriend's family. So, yeah, wasn't a great day, that one. Less said about the Villa game, the better. You can tell that I'm ill by the fact that I haven't shaved, so I look like I have a weird mustache. Ignore that. I'll be shaved by the next time. Anyway, we are pathetic still. I cannot believe we didn't win that game. I cannot believe we didn't win that game. Go 1-0 down after 4 minutes. Shit. Fuck, right? Fuck that. But you get back into it. Estevao wins us a penalty. Palmer equalizes super soon after we make it 2-1 through a really nice team goal. Enzo Fernandez with a wonderful finish. And then it lasts a few minutes. It literally lasts a few minutes. It's so bad. It's 2 long throws. 2 long throws. It's all it takes against us. Same as against Brentford, man. Honestly, on that first goal, all 3 of our main defenders, Achimpong, Fofana, and Chalobah, were all going for the same header. All 3 of them didn't get the ball, and the one Bournemouth attacker that was in there got it, even though he jumped less high than all 3 of them. And yeah, good job, criminal. I know. I absolutely know. And honestly, I was so confident. And I was so confident at halftime. I was so confident after an hour. And I was like, I've been proven, me and Pys have been proven so right. But then we fucked it. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. Such a nice laugh as well. Was it for them 2 set pieces as well? 2 long throws as well? I thought it was something else. But, mate, it might well have been. It might well have been. Honestly, guys, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of what's going on. Obviously, a lot of that comes from the Villa game, but I'm just so tired of everything that's happening in this fan base and at this football club. Because I'm like, us fans, we're like going at each other's throats constantly. Whether it's about, some say Maresca out, the others say, are you stupid for saying Maresca out? Like me, you know. And sometimes I shouldn't be as harsh as I am. And then there's some that have the hugest slate at any of the players, whether it's Garnacho, whether it's Neto, whether it's whoever it may be, right? But really, truly, none of this matters. Like, it's so irrelevant. Like, it doesn't really matter whether we think the manager's good. It doesn't matter. The manager will leave at the end of the season, and they will, because look at the situation. Do you think he's staying next year? Absolutely not. They're going to change him in the summer. They're going to change him to someone much worse, or at least worse. At worst, Liam Rosenio from Strasbourg, just going to keep the conveyor belt of blue coal going. That's all that's going to happen. And what passion do I have for this season then? You know, I'm still very confident we'll make 4th or 5th, which gets us Champions League football. But there's nothing in that. You know, when there's no hope, when there's no you know, the urge and the fight for we do more, we build for the future and for this and for that. You're not going to have that in like the Champions League round of 16. You're not going to have that in FA Cup quarterfinal when you're like, well, the manager's going. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have that last percent. You're just not. And we're losing it as fans. I'm not sure the team are losing it yet, but the manager is definitely losing it. And it's just like someone said earlier. Daniel said it here. Chelsea are not a serious club anymore, and sporting directors and owners don't want to sign 27 or 28-year-olds, and this project is failing. At Chelsea, I'm done. Change the model when Stanley and Stewart out. Yeah, exactly. Like that's all you can say. Like, I'm so bored. Like, it doesn't. Did we lose today because Maresca made a wrong choice? Did we lose today because we rotated too much? Did we lose today because we rotated not enough? Did we lose today? We didn't lose. We dropped points. Did we drop points because Enzo Fernandez couldn't score that chance? Were we just unlucky? Were we robbed by the ref? You can even make a case for that. Like, none of it matters. None of it matters, because like Daniel says, as long as the system, the structure, the project doesn't change, none of it matters. None of it matters. And I don't know the girl, but I'm not sure if she's a content creator or just randomly decided to make one video, but I think Chelsea content creator, she hit the nail on the head. And she said, it's incredible how committed these people, by that they mean, you know, Clear Lake Capital and the sport directors. It's unbelievable how committed they are at keeping us 1 year away from being 1 year away. Like, it hit the nail on the head so perfectly. You know, we're not even 1 year away. we're a year away from being 1 year away. And we've been a year away from being 1 year away for 3 seasons in a row now. And it just pisses me the fuck off. I just can't hack it. Like, honestly, I have no problem being a mid-table team. Obviously, I don't want Chelsea to turn into a mid-table team, but I have no problem being fan of a mid-table team. Mate, if we get fucking relegated, it's what happens. Football is football, right? But what I cannot fucking understand is when you have the resources, when you have the pull, when you have the power, and you get nothing right. Nothing. We won the Club World Cup. We literally won the Club World Cup. And now it's December 30th. We're nearly into 2026, and we still don't have a front of shirt sponsor. We went through the whole entire summer and made our squad not worse, but significantly worse. Significantly worse. And all I have to do for the last 6 months since this summer window happened is argue with idiots about why Maresca isn't the problem. Like, what are we doing? Are you like every single game this season since the Club World Cup, you watch us play and you're like, what the fuck are these strikers? It doesn't matter whether it's Delap up front or João Pedro up front. They're both as pathetically shit as each other. They are both so bad. And I don't want to spend time having a go at them personally and individually. It's not their fucking fault. It's not their fault they ain't better. It really isn't. It really isn't. But it's the people's fault that decided, yeah, let's bring these two in. Let's spend 60 whole million on João Pedro. 60 whole million. People talking about Garnacho being a bad signing. 60 whole million on João Pedro. And I know his goal contributions aren't even that bad. But you watch him play. Did you see him today? He looks like not only does he look like Havertz, he looks like a shit Havertz. Think about that. Looks like a shit Havertz. And Delap, I'll tell you that now. If Armando Broja was still at the club and was playing like Liam Delap was, I would be at his throat. Armando Broja, even if he was playing like this, I'd be fuming. Let alone someone who we signed for 30 million. It's the guy cannot control a football. The guy cannot control a football. Yeah, all that, Matthew. He's spot on. Gittins, Garnacho, they're both shit. Honestly, guys, I actually defended Garnacho quite a lot this season. Not because I thought he's been great, but because I thought, why are we having a go at a player that we all knew was going to be exactly like this? And at least so far hasn't misbehaved off the pitch. So if anything, has arguably done better than we expected. With Gittins, a lot of us and a lot of, basic fans that maybe aren't like me and like try to, pay attention to players who we sign or whatever as they kind of make content. You can't expect everybody to know in detail about Gittins. But Garnacho, everybody knew. So I don't know why everybody's so mad. But, it's so annoying. I just can't be bothered anymore, man. Just sign some fucking players. But, I say sign some fucking players. You know how many players we need. You know how much money we've spent and how many players we need. We need a centre-back. We need a left-back. We need a midfielder because none of ours are ever fucking fit and available. Caicedo now suspended again. I'm starting to get fuming at him as well. He's the next one I can piss the fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my... And by piss off, I don't mean leave. Obviously, I love him and I need him, but I'm just a bit annoyed at him, right? Please understand me correctly. Enzo, man, you score such a good goal and then you missed that chance. You missed that. How'd you put it over, man? How'd you put that over? How can you do that? How? I don't get it. Like Ricky said, worst part is of it all is that you just know we're going to bring in more 18-year-olds this January. If that, maybe we're not even going to sign anybody. At best, we're going to sign a 16-year-old for in 2 years. That's what we're going to do. Sign a 16-year-old for in 2 years. Mazza, hello, mate, says totally not acceptable anymore. These owners who put out the PR need to wake the fuck up. Yeah, exactly. That's what they need to do. Like, we get these briefs. Oh, we still believe in our squad. We think the squad is good enough to reach the target of top 4 and going on deep cup runs. And in a normal season, maybe that would be the case. But we are not in a normal season. We are not fit. Can you not see it? Can you not see how every single game, at the end of the game, we are just like dying at the depths of our lungs and the opposition are running all over us every single end of every single game? Watch it. Pay attention. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because of the Club World Cup. That's why that is. Because we didn't have a pre-season. That's why that is. And last season we had this insane squad depth. Where we played Madueke, Mudryk, and Kunku and João Felix in the Conference League. We played those guys. And now our starting 11 is worse than that. Mate, it's a joke. It's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. I mean, you're not even wrong, but I don't know what to do with him, because he's, at the same time, he's still our only and most dangerous player. The only player who I trust that isn't Reece James, that I trust will like fight and like, be dirty and like stand up to people and like, but at the same time, you're right still. Oh man, it just, maybe we reach top 4, but it will be like the Poch season where we maybe get top 4 or maybe miss out, barely make Europa. Could be, depending on how the season transpires. Obviously, I'm still expecting someone like Villa to fall off and stuff like this. Suffocating football at times, with going backwards as a team and Maresca 2.0. Can you please say that again, Maza? I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say, if I'm honest. Yeah, I've never personally been a person that has a problem with passing backwards in certain, like there's moments where it does annoy me as well, but less so than most other people, I feel like, simply because to me it's like, well, I want my team to break the opposition down, and I know that we have a plan to break them down that starts from the back. The plan doesn't start from somewhere random. Do you know what I mean? So when you're going from somewhere random, I'm relying on the quality of our players, and we don't have that. We have Estevao, and when he's in good form, we have Cole Palmer. Unfortunately, currently he's in absolutely diabolical form, and I don't understand why everybody's moaning when he's getting subbed off. I'm happy he's getting subbed off. I think he should be getting subbed off earlier, because he's shit at the moment. He's costing us. That first half, part of that is because of Palmer, because we know Enzo can't run back either, but Palmer doesn't either. That's the problem. It's not just Enzo is the problem. It's the problem is that neither do it. Do you know what I mean? When are we going to see Maresca 2.0 as a team performance? When are we going to see Maresca 2.0? As a team, performances are going backwards. We ain't getting better as the season goes on. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. Okay. Interesting. I'm just thinking about how I want to respond to that. And I'm intrigued about what everybody else thinks about this as well. Because on the one hand, I kind of see that, what you're saying. On the other hand, I'm like, well, I would say there is moments. Think of the Barcelona game, or even the Arsenal game with 10 men, where I'm like, we have definitely improved and we have definitely gone better. But at the same time, with the summer that we had, we're not having a preseason, having a lack of fitness, plus, and I think that's the crucial factor here, Maza, having made the squad, and I think all of us agree with that, right? That we made the squad worse over the summer. And obviously, on top of the signings that made the squad worse, we also, lost Levi Colwill to an ACL injury, which, is our best defender out for the whole season. And then obviously we missed Cole Palmer for 3.5, 4 months as well, when he's still now not there, still playing with pain, still not ready, still not good enough, right? So while I partly see what you're saying, at times I also disagree. But even if I do agree, I'm like, isn't there reasons for that? So that's why I'm like, is it harsh to expect that? But how can we know? Because there's never been a Club World Cup like this. You know what I mean? So it's really unfair to judge. Well, what I can say, and just as a fact to throw out there for you, tonight was obviously the last game of the year for us. That was our 63rd game of the season. Not of the season, of the year. That was our 63rd game of 2025. The most of any team in the Premier League. And I would assume most of the world. I would be very surprised if a lot of teams have had more games than that. Now, theoretically, some lower league English teams could have, if they made really long cup runs alongside, obviously, their 40-odd game season. But yeah, I'll get to a couple more of your questions. First, Ricky, what happened to Palmer? Well, like I say, he's getting subbed off, mate. I'm baffled that he started. I don't know what you people are seemingly baffled that he got taken off. I'm baffled that he's starting. He started 74 hours ago against Villa. How is he starting again? And you can see he's not winning ready. He shouldn't have started any of these games. He should have sat the whole time, should have been on the bench. And come on, 10-minute, 20-minute cameos at most. Look at him. He's not ready. Look at how unsharp he is. Look at how slow he is. Look at how he's not tracking back. That's a hindrance to our team currently. This is not a benefit. Absolutely not. Fundamentally Blue says he will be sacked and the new Yes Man manager will come in with new kids that will make more mistakes. Yeah. You've quite literally hit the nail on the head, Fundamentally Blue. That is it. That is what will happen. Yeah. I don't think Maresca gets sacked before the end of the season unless things get shockingly bad, but he will get replaced at the end of the season because I don't think he's playing ball with them and I don't think they're changing the structure and the project. So what happens? And Ryan asked even twice, Laz, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Honest question, mate. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know. It's been such a weird year. Obviously, it's nearly the last day of the year, last game of the year. Obviously, the summer was so weird. Like, a lot of us were like, obviously, we were kind of hyped to be in the Club World Cup, at the same time, not really. And then we won the thing out of kind of nowhere. Like, none of us thought certainly I had not a single ounce of hope that we'd win that tournament. And then all of a sudden we did. And we did nothing with that. We didn't sign any good players. We didn't get a sponsorship. And like I say, it's just that thing where I'm like that person said, they're constantly keeping us a year away from being a year away. And this is that's what we're happening. Like Matthew says, that's the new normal. Why is the joke, which is the, sorry. Unfortunately, this is becoming the normal, which is the joke. The quality and depth is awful. Yeah, it truly is. Like, honestly, our squad is so bad. It's so embarrassingly bad. I'll go to the lineup in a second. I can't even be bothered to talk about the game. I honestly can't, because it's such a whole situational thing where I'm like, just leave me alone, man. Just either you turn up and you start being proper and you start making us into a team that can challenge for things in the next 2 years, or you just leave it. Just leave it and don't sell us this bullshit false hope, man. Can't hack it anymore. Samuel says, considering how we can actually show up in some games and we play really brilliantly. Absolutely. Don't you think another manager who is slightly above Maresca's expertise will make us significantly better? Absolutely not. Because I think the reason we are as good in those games, a large reason for that is Enzo Maresca, in my opinion. But I think the significant point here is also, Samuel, the idea that we will get an even slightly better manager is laughable. Think about the managers this club has hired so far. Okay, we started having Thomas Tuchel. We sacked him straight away. Then we got Graham Potter, who of course was pathetic. But to be fair, at that point was at least a reasonable Premier League manager and had done good things at Brighton. So you're like, up-and-coming manager. Shouldn't have been the manager that Chelsea went for, but still there is something in that. Right. You get rid of him. Fantastic. You bring Lamps back for absolutely no reason for 6 games, lose pretty much all of them, and just not great, is it? Then you get Poch, a Tottenham legend, known for injuring players by training too hard. And then you go from Poch, who we also all didn't like, to a championship manager. And no, I don't think Maresca is a championship quality manager, but we have to be honest, we got him from the championship. Now, to be fair, he did get promoted to the Premier League, so essentially he was a Premier League manager, really. But we got him from the team that won the championship, in Leicester, obviously. Do you really think the next manager is going to be a better manager when you've gone Graham Potter, Pochettino, Enzo Maresca from the championship? Does that look to you like the next one's going to be better? Because it sure as hell doesn't fucking look like that to me. And that's, yeah. There has been a lot of what-if moments where if we had substituted a bit earlier or started a different player, then we get to win or not. But this is completely hypothetical, though. Judging by what? Do you know what I mean? Judging by what? There's been games that we won with subs, and there's been games that we lost with subs. You know what I mean? And no, I can't even be bothered to get into this conversation. I'll be honest. If Chelsea stick to the potential managers list, I don't know if the manager will be better or worse. Well, definitely not better, I'll tell you that much. Enzo not doing the post-match interview saying he is ill. Fair. That's interesting. Considering, you said this already, fair enough. Seeing Arsenal 4-0 up and we couldn't beat Bournemouth makes me sick. Yeah. We could have also closed down on Villa. You could hear a pin drop today. The home fans have had enough. Yeah, equally as pathetic. I can't lie. Support your fucking teammate. Is there a certain player that you would bring in to help improve the squad? Mate, Vinicius Jr., mate. I would rather die than have Vinicius Jr. turn up here. An individual, one single player. Honestly, I don't think such a player exists. Okay, no, I changed my mind. Erling Haaland. Yeah, that's who. Yeah, if you bring Erling Haaland in, we'll be much better. I tell you that much. Yeah, Erling Haaland will probably be the guy. Otherwise, Bastoni. I don't know. But yeah, Individual mistakes costing us a lot, some players more than others, but overall we can't control any game of football. It's bipolar settings. The left wing lit up second half. I think it was the better of the two. Yeah, I don't even know. Proof that Maresca's tactics board was found in a Pandora's box. Talk about influence. In 2021, we won the Champions League final. In 2022, the owners came in and sacked everyone. Who does that? No one does that. And it's to this day one of the worst mismanagements any company in history has ever seen. Any institution has ever seen. Anyways, let's get into the game. I don't think I'm going to do full player ratings, but this was the lineup that we went with today. Make of it what you will in it. What can I say? Sanchez in goal, sure. Reece James getting a rest from the beginning. Cucurella is okay, but a slight knock from the last game, so missed out today. So we went with, of course, Chalobah, Fofana as the centre-backs. Acheampong started a right-back and Gusto started a left-back. The last 5 to 10 minutes of the first half, we switched it, and then we took off Acheampong anyway and left Gusto back in left-back, which I didn't really understand, if I'm honest. Enzo and Caicedo in midfield. Of course, in possession, it was a lot like this. In the first half, like that. And then in the second half, of course, with Reece James. But it just wasn't working. It just wasn't really working. Like, we scored a nice team goal, but the defending was just all over the shop. Acheampong was all over the shop. Gusto was all over the shop. He didn't know how to defend. Caicedo was all over the shop. I mean, he got a pathetic yellow card after 4 minutes, which was never a booking. Never, ever, ever was it a booking. But, of course, it limited him dramatically. And I think a large chunk of the reason why Bournemouth had so many chances, even if not that many were great chances, but still had so many chances in the first half, was partly because Caicedo had the yellow card after 4 minutes. But at the same time, starting a game without Cucurella, which we very rarely do, and without Reece James, honestly, if you expected us to be good, if you expected us to be compact and solid defensively, honestly, that's kind of on you. You should have seen that coming. You should have seen it coming. That without Cucurella and without Reece James, we ain't just gonna laugh about. Grant says, I still say Leao for left wing. Mate, Leao is worse than Pulisic. That's why I'm telling you. He's certainly performing a lot worse for AC Milan than Pulisic is. That's for sure. I don't rate him a lot. I don't rate him a lot at all. I'm not saying he's awful, but I mean, and if he stays at Milan for a little longer, eventually you'll get him for 40, 50 million, and then it'd be worth a punt. But at the money that he did cost and would have cost over the last 2 years, never, in my opinion, good enough. But yeah, let me quickly bring up FOTMob, guys, because I mean, honestly, as much as I'm frustrated with the game overall, in terms of we took the lead and then threw it away again 4 minutes later, Bournemouth created more than we did. I mean, in total, we had the same amount of shots, but they had 6. And you can see with momentum, we were largely on top. But they had obviously this just before the breaks and just made some top saves, we've got to say. They just had a high frequency of chances, in particular in the first half. When you go to the stats and you only look at the second half, look at it. There isn't that much to what Bournemouth did. 0.37 XG in the second half. But in the first half, they had 2.52, which is obviously bloody a lot. But we also had more in the first half than we did in the second half. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, 17 shots each. 6 shots on target for them, only 3 for us. 2 big chances for us, 6 for them. So, we only missed 1. So that's great, isn't it? We had 6 shots off target. They had 7. We had 8 blocked shots. They had 4. We hit the woodwork once, but that was a corner that hit the woodwork. So that was kind of semi-real stat that. It's just, we won more duels. I mean, when you go 1-0 down in 6 minutes, man, in 6 minutes from a long throw. Honestly, so much of what I didn't understand today was, especially Fofana, it felt like he was trying to give them throw-ins, and I just couldn't really believe what I was seeing. I honestly couldn't really believe what I was seeing in terms of that. Like, the second goal, maybe it was a foul on him anyway, to be fair, but why does he give it? Honestly, baffles me. We already conceded from a long throw, and he did that again in the second half, and that nearly cost us a penalty when Malo Gusto got the ball on his hands. But maybe we should talk about that as well. Obviously, their first goal through Brooks after 6 minutes, in my opinion, how can it stand? It clearly rolls down his arm, but they didn't even show us the appropriate replays, and we know that the replays we see are the replays that VAR look at. So they didn't even look at the relevant camera angles, and that's what they make decisions over? My God, pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Fundamentally Blue says, never seen a team hardly talk, communicate with each other like it's 11 strangers on a random field, to only open their mouths to complain to anyone that will listen. Joking. I'm not sure if I fully agree with that. At times, yeah. At other times, no. But I don't know. Do you think that? Hasn't really been my grasp. I think the team unity in general is very good, and I think they do talk to each other quite a lot. But I think there's obviously a natural leader obviously misses. You know, when Reece was on the pitch in the second half, that part was better, but it also stifled our attack because, you know, there being less chaos in the game was good for us defensively, but it was bad for us offensively. Do you know what I mean? So these things, unfortunately, always swing around about. Let me just see how many saves Sanchez made. 4 saves. Did all right, to be fair to him. He faced 1.99 XG and conceded 2 goals. I think that's harsh. I can't lie. I think that's harsh. But yeah, Sanchez, all right. I want to say I can't be bothered for player ratings. No, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing player ratings for this. What Brentford just put 4 past this lot last week. We draw 1-1. Yeah, 2-2. Yeah, we do. United put 4 past these lot as well. United, by the way, at least draw as well. So at least United didn't go ahead of us. That's at least something. Do you know what I mean? But I just can't be bothered to do player ratings for this. I'll just do it verbally. Do you know what I mean? Sanchez, 6. Fofana, 5. Acheampong, 4.5. Chalobah, 4.5. Caicedo, 5. Gusto, 4.5. Palmer, 4. Honestly, it pisses me off. Enzo, 6 because he's 5.5 because he scored, but he should have scored another. Garnacho, 4. Delap, 3. Estevao. I want to talk about him. He is at least someone worth talking about. Because without Estevao, we would be so fucking done. We would be so fucking done. He is the only saving grace at this entire football club. The fight, the heart, the quality, the tenacity, the cojones, but also the character, the personality. When like that guy was kind of having a go at him for diving when he clearly didn't dive, and he was like blowing him a kiss straight into his face, laughing at him. Absolutely love that. Like. Estevao was the fact that Estevao did that in the second half at left wing means Garnacho and Giddens shouldn't be seeing the pitch again. You know, like honestly, Neto should. Honestly, I would rather see Garnacho than I would Neto. I'll be totally honest with you. But if I'm like, we have to play with Neto, then I'd much rather see Estevao on the left than I would either Garnacho or Giddens. Estevao just has to be in the team. I don't care if he's on the left or on the right. I would rather on the right, but I don't care which side you play him on. He's clearly the best no matter what side he's on. That shot on his weak foot that nearly went in. Oh, my God. When he went round Tavernier, how he sent him. Absolutely beautiful. If that goes through to Delap or Neto at the back post and we score on my days, I go wild. I go absolutely wild. What a player. What a kid. I'm so impressed by him. I love him so much. He's so good. He's the only thing keeping me positive. It's the only thing keeping me sane as well. I'll tell you that much. Do we have any... Wow. I just saw something pretty wild. I'll open that in a second. We'll look at that after that. Maresca will not hold a post-match conference after that as he's not feeling well. Yeah, honestly, I would not be feeling well either if I was you. I'll be honest, bro. So Willy Caballero gave the TV interviews. All right. Let's look at some quotes. Honestly, guys, my head is fried. I feel ill. And I'm annoyed at the team. Wesley Fofana, whether this was a missed opportunity for points. Of course, when we don't win, we miss an opportunity. We take 1 point tonight, which is difficult. We need to progress in January for sure and win more games. The season isn't finished, so we need to continue working on us. That's it. We are close to the team we want to be. We are just missing some small details. Of course, we are young, but we need to be more mature. Honestly, I don't think you should say we are close to the team we want to be, just missing some details, because that to me is not a good thing to hear. It was a tough game, a difficult game. We tried to give everything, but when you concede 2 goals in that manner, it just makes things complicated at this level. We just didn't see the game out in the second half. We were making chances, but didn't score, so it was difficult. But we played well tonight. We were solid. Even though we conceded 2 goals, we need to continue like this, and I hope the future is good. We conceded the 2 goals in the same way, on a first touch and a better ball. It just isn't it isn't just one player's fault. It is everyone that needs to do better. We need to analyze what happened and progress from that. We need to learn to kill games. We need to learn to score when we have the chance. We do try everything, though, and sometimes it's just a bit like this. I mean, that part is true. Sometimes it is just a bit like this. Unfortunately, it is just a bit like this every December. But yeah, Maresca not doing press conference because feeling unwell. Caballero will be filling in. Caballero throwing away another lead. It's a difficult start, but we had to deal with that and improve. In another view, it means we are creating and scoring goals, which is good. But we need to find a way to win those points and kill those games. Yeah, what is he going to say? It happens in some games. Sometimes it's details. Sometimes it's because the opponent finds a way to break through and create chances. We need to find that type of mentality to find a way to win those games. We invested a lot, and today was really a good game in terms of how we went into the other box. We created many chances. I mean, we did, but they created more. You know, that's part of the issue. Maresca being ill, he didn't feel well in the last 2 days. He had a temperature 2 days ago. After the game, he went to the changing room and he asked me to replace him because he didn't feel well. You got to respect that as well. Willie Caballero on boost for Palmer sub. Of course, any supporter wants to have the best players on the pitch, and so do we. But Cole is coming from a long injury. So in this case, we need to find a way to find the right subs for the game and also take care of our players because we didn't have him for a long period. Absolutely. Caicedo being suspended, very frustrated because it was the first foul of the game. It was close to us. It doesn't look like a yellow for me, but it's done now, so we are going to miss a very important player. But we need to think about who will replace him, who will replace Moy because he's a big loss, the same as we miss Cole, Liam, any player, because all of them are important. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I just wish to, yeah. Of course, Enzo Maresca will be fine for that game. On how Enzo will be is dealing with a difficult spell. Yes, of course, he's dealing well because he's very professional. He loves to train, loves to coach. So he's an example for me, for all of the staff. And yes, we didn't do as well in December as we expected. We go in January to start the year to improve and to find the points that can make us achieve our targets. On long throws, it's such an issue now because every single game, every team has not just one, sometimes 2 or 3 players that can deliver a very long throw. It means teams invest a lot in long throws and create chances, and we need to improve. We are unlucky to have 4 goals against them from long throws. Today we had 2 in the same way. It hurts. We need to correct that. We do need to correct that, but I'm not really sure what this kind of sentiment helps, if I'm honest. Really not sure. Estevao and Palmer, the only reason is the director still have a job. See, Ricky, I get why you said that, but the sad thing is, I don't think so. I think the sporting directors could have literally relegated us, and I still think they would be in the job. I don't know if they have Iqbali's bank details or his wife's nudes or I don't know what, but it's fucked up. The whole thing's fucked up. I tell you that much. We keep the ball just to keep the ball. No bravery. Once one player makes a mistake, it's definitely contagious in this young team. Yeah, no, I agree with that. As soon as you make mistakes, we start to get a little bit scared. All right, go to a criminal. Lovely, lovely sentiment. But yeah, the bravery. I mean, bravery is always more easily said than done in games against low blocks. You could see the bravery in the first half. Just weren't really happening. And sometimes, back in the press now, what a coward. Or he's just ill. But sure. How can you hate Chalobah, man? Like, honestly, bro, if you hate Chalobah, I think you're a bad person. I think I do not want to be friends with you. I do not really want to talk to you because I'm like, how can you hate a guy that's been at the club at your club since he's 8 years old, was forced to help out in various difficult situations, helped us out brilliantly every single time, was then forced out, banished from the first team training ground, and forced out, shipped off to Palace, only for us to 5 months later realize, fuck, we need you, and recall him, and become one of our best defenders since then. I'm not saying that's because we are great, but because all the players are on average shit. And he's been better than all the other defenders other than Colwell. You know, I'll tell you that much. Well, obviously not defenders. I don't include Cucurella and Reece James. I mean centre-backs. If he loved the club, he would rip up his contract. No, he wouldn't. Well, for a manager, it seems. I've never seen a manager be on the touchline and make up an excuse not to come out and tell the fan what that BS we just watched. Right. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Or he's really ill and obviously turned up to the game and didn't miss the game, but was like, yeah, I ain't doing media. So, I mean, seems like a very reasonable thing to do, especially, do you ever feel like what a manager says straight after a game in terms of a post-match reaction is like a true, like, an explanation of what you've just seen. I don't really feel that. But apparently you all feel that. So, hey, like I said in the beginning, I think none of this matters. I think the fact that we are talking about Maresca is pathetic, if I'm being honest. Like, how everything we've discussed so far in this stream and how everything that's going on in this club, and we can go to the manager? I don't know, man. Hate is strong words, but he is not good. So are Enzo, Neto, Garnacho, Gusto. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could say you don't think a player is good, but hating a player from our academy? That's harsh. I mean, he did. That's what adrenaline does, I guess, bro. I mean, I don't know. And I honestly can't really be bothered. Like, maybe he just can't bother for the media. And honestly, I fully get it. I wouldn't be doing interviews live with him. But you're right. I haven't seen him many times either. But that tells me he's probably clearly not feeling very well then. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I say, it just doesn't, like, none of it is, it's also irrelevant, man. All of it. I want to bring this up because this is why I'm again, like, talking about, does it matter? Like, why are we mentioning the manager? Chelsea spent £250 million. That's over $300 million, nearly 300 million euros this summer. Signed by Laurenz Stewart, Joe Shields, and Paul Winstanley. Liam Delap, 9 Premier League games, 0 goals, 0 assists. Jamie Gittins, 13 Premier League games, 0 goals, 2 assists. João Pedro, 18 Premier League games, 6 goals, 3 assists. Honestly, in numbers, not looking that bad. But when you think about it, he cost 60 million, he's our main striker. It's not great. And considering the large chunk of this came very early in the season. Garnacho, 12 Premier League games, 1 goal, 2 assists. Buonanotte, well, he's a £2 million loan, but 1 Premier League game, 0 goals, 0 assists, not viewed as good enough to make the squad most of the time. And Ustuga's been injured, and Hato has looked off the level every time he's played. And Hato is now also injured. This is what I mean. This is why I'm like, there's no need to speak about the manager, guys. Like, even if you are frustrated with the manager, to even bring up the manager as a main issue to me is crazy. It's crazy. Like, we had a year of development, and then we threw the whole thing away and just ruined the squad. Yeah, it's like absolute garbage. His press conference, 3 minutes anyway. Yeah, well, there you go. So that's why you're not learning much from it, are you? But it's not. You guys got to think. Like, I think maybe people aren't quite aware. When you're skipping media, that doesn't mean you're skipping 2 interviews. That means you're skipping half an hour of talking, because you're doing multiple TV interviews, multiple TV stations. You're not doing one. You're doing many. Seriously, many. You're doing one with whoever broadcasted the game. Then you're doing that with 2 or 3 or 4 other countries in the world who have also had the broadcasters. Then you're doing it with BBC for Match of the Day. Then you're doing it with Sky if they didn't already show the game anyway for their highlights shows. And then you're doing it on top of that, the press conference after. Like, you're there for a 25 to 30 minute period. You know what I mean? But yeah. Never replaced Thiago Silva properly. Nope. Sure haven't. Owners wanted the directors to sign this. Josh, they're the biggest problem, not the directors. Yeah, well, inadvertently both, innit? Because the owners, in particular, like Barley, he hired those 2 mainly sporting directors as the guys in charge of the football operations. And that's why they trust them, because they hired them to do that job, you know? So you're right, obviously. But in a way, if they were just doing more normal things, Iqbali would buy it as well and do with that. But they're the only ones Iqbali and maybe even Bowley believe in. So therefore, they will do what they say. So what they say matters a lot in a way. Things are really bad. It's not a matter of if, but when. In terms of Maresca getting sacked, yeah, I'm telling you, in the summer, not before that. Maresca isn't using the squad properly. He's now put himself, especially those who side with him. It feels like he's an extension of the problem at this point. He isn't using the squad properly. Okay, please elaborate. How could he use the squad better? Please tell me. Please. Because what I'm seeing, I literally had a comment on my last stream saying, like, the reason Caicedo and Cucurella are out of form is because Maresca has played them into the ground. But every time Maresca rotates, all the criticism is Maresca over-rotates constantly. And then there's only 2 players in the team that essentially very rarely, if ever, get rotated anyway. And those 2 people, he then gets blamed for them being played into the ground. By the way, Caicedo isn't even playing being into the ground because the numpty is getting himself suspended so regularly, he's having more time off than anybody else in the team. I'll tell you that much. The amount of games Caicedo has missed without injury is pathetic, if I'm honest. There should be a study into how to spend £2+ billion and look worse than the team they took over from in 2021. I'm not sure it's 2 billion plus yet, but it's close to 2 billion, I think. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm so out of. I mean, part of it is me being ill, but it's just. By the way, there's 50 of you here. I appreciate all 50 of you. I really do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That would really help me out. Please do that. That'd be great. Like I say, go hit that like button. It's just one click of a button that doesn't cost you any money or any time. I really just appreciate that. So yeah, please leave that comment. Leave that comment. Drop that like. If you use Tato and Santos, then Caicedo would have less donkey work to do. Same with Cucurella, who now is out. But bro, you watched Tato against Karabakh. Did you not see it? Is that not so obvious? You know what I mean? Like, you saw him play, and you saw him play against in the cup as well. Like, you can see he's I will get to that. You can see he's struggling. I get your point, but the few times we played Hato, it was so bad. We can't play without Cucurella when we don't have to. You know what I mean? I hear your Santos thing. I hear that one. But did you watch us against Leeds? You know? That's all I'm saying. But I have to react to this. Idiosyncratic Junior says, you're Italian, so you're defending Maresca. Well, you're right in a way. My surname is Italian. My granddad was Italian, but in the very north of Italy, where, if you know anything about Italy, it's German-speaking there. Very much my dialect, or worse. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird situation. But yeah, my name is Italian, it is true. But I am not Italian. I do only speak a little bit of Italian. But you see, if you follow me for long enough, you'll learn that I defend any manager. I've never wanted a manager to go, except for one. Well, that's a lie, too. Rafa Benitez, obviously, I wanted to get a sack the whole time. And Antonio Conte in the second season, because he's just started to become an issue, in my opinion. He was complaining and having an issue with the club in itself. Hato was good against Liverpool. Well, I'm not really sure if I fully agreed with good. He just didn't fuck up. While in every other game that he played, he did fuck up. So, like, you had one good game, whereas against 4 or 5 bad ones. So, maybe that what you will. Yeah, he was very good against Burnley, but he was good the week after. So there you go. You didn't want Graham Potter to go. Well, not for a long time, but mostly in the sense of that I didn't feel that would help us. And do I still stand by what I said then? Absolutely. Absolutely. Would it have made more sense to keep Potter until the end of the season than to bring Lampard back for 6 weeks and lose every game? Yeah, I absolutely still believe that. Maresca needs to go, yeah. I mean, the Maresca out people are coming in again, I guess so. It's normal. December and Chelsea just don't mix. It's a reoccurring theme, very much so is. Guess what? Strasbourg's coach wants experience, though. Exactly. Every manager will want experience. Every single manager, because managers know football. Winstanley and Stewart and the owners do not. And they think, yeah, having a young team is a great idea. And that's why the brilliant statement of keeping us a year away for being a year away is fantastic. Now, this is interesting, though, Johnny. Like, I understand why you're saying it this way. I personally don't, if I'm honest, but maybe. Would be interesting. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, I don't think Maresca should be going. I don't think Maresca is the problem. I think if we give Maresca the right ingredients, I think Maresca could become a very good manager. He's already a very good manager and could become an elite manager, in my opinion, because it's no coincidence that all of Pep Guardiola's disciples are dominating managerial football. Whether it's Pep himself, whether it's company, whether it's Arteta, whether it's obviously Maresca, whether it's Luis Enrique, who learned from Pep Guardiola. Every single top manager learned from Pep Guardiola. Xabi Alonso at Bayern Munich, like every single one. Every single one. So the likelihood that Maresca is the only one that is shit is quite small, in my opinion. And I would kind of find it really funny if Pep left and Maresca went to City and battered us every time. Like, I find it shit, but I find it funny. I'll say that much. You back? Oh yes, I back Maurizio Sarri. I very much back Maurizio Sarri. Not going for people like Semenyo is a shit move. He sees Garnacho and Gittins completely not performing. Neto looks lethargic, and Semenyo is one of the best players in the Prem so far. He is, but also the way he played today, if he played like that at Chelsea, we'd all be calling him shit. I'm just saying. Maresca can't work miracles with this shit squad, man. What do we really expect? Exactly. A Strasbourg manager can do better. He will 100% replace Maresca if sacked. I'm not quite at 100%, but I think you're right. This is also my assumption that if we sack Maresca, we will simply get Liam Rosenior. That's what I think. The team looked like they gave up today. Interesting. I saw a mate of mine literally said the team gave everything today. So there you go. We have a very good coach. He has been given the tools to do the job. I agree, Rich. I agree. Rafa, Villas-Boas, Potter. I want it all out. Don't regret one bit. Yeah, Rafa, of course. Villas-Boas. Villas-Boas, I was kind of in a different stage of how I was a fan. This was a time when it wasn't even possible to watch every single game where I lived. But I spent the second half of that season in Ireland when I lived there for 6 months. So then I was able to watch every game. And then I was kind of against Villas-Boas, but yeah, like I said, I was a very young kid. I was like, okay, give Villas-Boas the hope. But then he started to try to phase out John Terry, and then I started to be annoyed. And I'm not saying I didn't want Potter out by the end, but not like I'm not caught. But even if I think a manager should go, what I was saying earlier is I don't sit here and call for a manager's head. That doesn't mean I'm not saying, for example, for Potter, I said, I think it probably would be better if he went now. But I'm not going to be the guy to be like, Potter out, he needs to go. That's not me, because I think the value of blame managers get given in football at every club is ridiculous. I think that. So, yeah, that's me. Remember, we after to follow the UEFA deal, so that means we will sign. Do under 21 players not count to this rule or what? Fair enough. It's not good enough whether he learns from Guardiola or not. I disagree. I very much disagree. And I think he's more than proven that, in my opinion. I find it really insane that people think this. Like, did you not watch the Club World Cup? Like, did you not watch it? What he did to the best team in the world and to the manager. By the way, Luis Enrique and Hansi Flick, both managers, all of you, the Maresca haters, would want to replace Maresca. He schooled both of them. Is proper Chelsea. That's why he helped us out today. But he isn't. He's an Arsenal fan, unfortunately, even if he was born in Chelsea. I have more patience with you. Fair enough. The manager looked like he just wanted the ground to swallow him up. Yeah, probably because he was fucking ill. That's probably why he looked like that all day. Good to see he doesn't really have a saying who comes in. He's not a yes man. He may walk. Yeah, he may walk. He may walk one day. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I think his demeanor today, with the fact that he now missed interviews because he's ill, I think makes a lot of sense. What inspired you to become a Chelsea fan? Okay, we can talk about that. Well, it's kind of weird, two reasons in a way. So first of all, in school, my best friend's older brother was a Chelsea fan. And then I watched our semi-final in 2005 in the Champions League against Liverpool, in which Liverpool won with the ghost goal. And that ghost goal, little old me found very unfair. And therefore I was like, I'm going to support this blue team now because I thought they were harshly done by. So here we are. Honestly, why am I surprised at bad refereeing decisions nowadays? I literally started supporting the club over a bad refereeing decision. So that's how it goes. Waiting for his pension. Just how the Strasbourg coach doesn't improve in the league, he will be gone and he will not be coaching Chelsea. That's coming from top sources. I mean, fair enough if you've heard that. I haven't heard that. But yeah. It may well be the case. It may well be the case. What position do you think we should sign in January, and who do you think we should sign. Well, I think we're not going to sign anybody. Yeah, I thought that too, but he isn't. He's an Arsenal fan. There's an interview. He said it himself that he is an Arsenal fan. He's just from Chelsea. Like he's born in Chelsea. That's why everybody's talking about this and that he has a link to Chelsea. But he said himself that he's an Arsenal fan. Well, really striker, if I'm honest, because that's why I think we're by the furthest away from having quality. Because I think Delap and João Pedro are both just... Honestly, I don't even think they're good enough for Everton. Either of them. Genuinely. So, for us, wow. It's just shocking. Club World Cup is a cup game, unlike league competition. Yeah, that is true. And what do you judge a manager by? Do you judge him by the things that he can control? Or do you judge him by the things... A league competition is almost 100% down to the squad. And the squad management, right? The squad, not decided by himself. We just discussed all stream long. We spent £250 million to make the squad significantly worse. And we know, it's been widely reported, it's the club that demands all this level of rotation, not the manager. So all the things you're complaining about the manager for, he's not even in charge of. It's like I saw people blaming the manager for conceding set piece, for conceding the long throws today. It's like, this is what we have a set piece coach for, who the manager has no say over. Has done well in Europa League Conference. Yeah, he's done all right. I don't even think they're bad. They're 7th. What do you expect? I know they spent a lot of money, but they lost literally their best player. And we gave them fucking Chilwell. Do you think that's good? I think we should have gone for Osimhen in the first place. The lead striker was actually a number 9. I mean, yeah, but Osimhen earns 350k a week. That was never going to happen, bro. It's never going to happen. Omega, Sarr, Konda, and Semenyo, maybe Pires, definitely Coleman in the summer. So where do we finish next season? I think 3rd at a push. I agree. 3rd at a push. But that's impossible to call now for me because all depends on the summer transfer window. Well, obviously January, but I don't think we're going to do anything in January. By the summer we will. But will we make the squad worse again? Because think about it. We made the squad worse in the first summer. We made the squad worse in the second summer. We made the squad worse in the third summer. And we made the squad worse in the next summer. So, yeah. Well, yeah. So does Sterling, but that was when Todd Bowley was in charge. You know what I mean? Not when the sporting directors were in charge. Just sign it with WWE shit football like facts. It would suit WWE really well. The Lab is a relegation striker at best, let's be honest. Yeah, facts. We have won 7 or 8 games in a row under any manager that the owners have got. Not quite sure what you meant, sorry. But what else did I want to say? Relegation striker at best, let's be honest. I can't even remember. I know that strikers are not good. That's why I know. That's why I know. And I just can't be bothered with it anymore. I'm just so... I don't even know. Like, I feel like a bad fan in a way. I honestly do, because I try to be so supportive, and I was in a really dark place in supporting this. Not in a personal way, maybe a little bit as well, if we're being honest. But you know, then that hit us all of us after COVID, right? Anyways, enough of that. I was in a dark place at times being a Chelsea fan. The Potter times, then hiring a Spurs legend. Honestly, I was close to throwing it all in. I was like, we're hiring Spurs legends now. This ain't Chelsea, and I never want to. Sometimes I do, but I never really want to. I don't want to ever portray myself as I'm better. I'm a better fan. Not at all. I'm just trying to explain how I'm a fan. That doesn't mean everybody has to be a fan that way. But maybe sometimes it explains my reactions to certain things. Now, there's a few things that I can say. Now, number one, the more I see anyone to do with my club criticized, except the sporting directors and Nick Barley, the more I defend them. So the more I see my chat and people online having a go at Maresca, the more I defend them. It will even get to the point where I over-defend them. And that applied to every manager. That applied to Maurizio Sarri. That applied to various managers. I was one of the managers that was arguably most critical of at times was Thomas Tuchel, but not because I thought he was the worst, not at all. But I felt he got the least criticism. And I felt then sometimes certain things needed to be mentioned. But that never meant that he had to be, I never called for him to be sacked, let's be clear. But I had criticism sometimes. But and I'm also like that when recently, when João Pedro got a lot of praise, I started to almost go overboard with how much I criticized him because I felt, why is he getting so much praise? I think he's awful. And then, like I say, when players get too much hate, I start to over-defend them, like I did with Kai Havertz, like I did with Kepa, like I did with, I don't know, at the moment, maybe a little bit Garnacho. That's me. And I'm like, ride and die until the end. That's like me, that's my personality. I'm an extremely loyal person. Like, I did I defend Werner? No, I didn't, to be fair. No, I didn't. But that is an exception to how I do things, and I have an explanation for that. I know I sound like a hypocrite. I get it, bro. I get it. But he came from Leipzig. I hate everything and everyone to do with Red Bull. Except Erling Haaland, because he seems to be the most likable footballer in history and he played for them. But I hate everything to do with Red Bull. I hate them all. So I had a strong preconception against him before we ever signed him. And like I say, I didn't defend him. No, I didn't. I hold my hands up. But yeah, that's often me, where I'm like, I over defend some guys and I over criticize some other guys. But I will never. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I'm just a very emotional fan, where I'm like, I know I'm a content, right? And it's got a couple of these questions here. Yeah, glad Simmons went to Spurs then. Yes, I did. Yes, I was. People were trying to convince me to like want him, and I kind of like almost got there, and then he went to Spurs. So that was crazy. Finally, I've heard the sporting directors will have some blame if we don't get top 5. Where are you hearing these things? I hope it's true. It's not the manager, it's the people who got in a bunch of inexperienced young players and said, here you go, win games. Yeah, that, and on top of that, extremely young manager and inexperienced manager as well, which just makes the whole thing even more difficult. I can believe, Miss Nick Jackson, sometimes it's better to appreciate what you have. Yeah, Sissin, I completely agree. Jackson was another one of those who I defended sometimes too much, but I still stand by the fact that I was more right in defending him than some people were in the way they criticized him. But yeah, like I say, I'm just very an emotional fan, but emotional in the sense of my club first, and no matter what, I will not go and talk to other fans and talk my club down. I will not run around and say we're shit, nothing will work. And I'm still now, even how bad the last few weeks have sat here, I'm still now sat here 100% confident, not a doubt in my mind that we will make top 4. Not a doubt in my mind that we will make top 4, which I just think we will. And I might be delusional, but I just think we will. And I also feel like a bit of a clown if I said that in the beginning of the season and I just changed my mind. Because every team, other than the ones that win the league and come second close behind, will have a few bad spells in the season. Every team will. And we do every year. Let's be honest, it's not like something new. But yeah. The sporting directors just got an extension and the raise. They're going nowhere. Yeah, that's what I think. Absolutely nowhere. We can pay ready-made players wages, but they don't want to because they fear the Sterling situation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they dropped points against Wolves as well. Thank God for United. At least they're worse than us. No one complained when Maresca finally used the players that we bought for him when he brought on Gio, Gittins and Garnacho, one against Liverpool, same against Barca. And Arsenal never complained. Yeah, because we were in good form as a team then. And that's when things work. That's when things work. Gio hasn't seen the light of day in weeks now that Delap is back. I'd rather Gio than Gittins. I'd rather Gio than Delap. Gittins and Garnacho, I mean, you see Gittins and Garnacho every game. I mean, like, you can see the quality, The problem, this is the problem, Couture. It isn't about that the players that we have, they don't all have it in them. They do. Every single one of the players that we have in the squad, with the only one where I'm not as sure about this as of now is Delap, because he hasn't really shown it. But all the other players have either for us or at other clubs shown that they have quality. The problem is, and the problem with the lack of quality that we have, is that their quality isn't so good that they are able to produce this quality on a regular basis. And when you then have an inconsistent bunch of players, but not mixed with a consistent bunch of experienced elite players. You know, this is what Chelsea always used to be. You had John Terry, you had Frank Lampard, you had Didier Drogba, you had Ashley Cole, you had Peter Cech, you had Ivanovic, you had Cesc Fabregas, you had Matic. And then you could, around that, throw in a young Hazard. Obviously, Hazard turned out to be incredible, but you could do that. No problem, because the rest was experience. You know? And that applied to many situations. But now, they all suffer as a collective. Where's the problem? The good news, Reece James will be offered a new contract. I'll call that good news when I've seen him signed it, because I can 100% see them lowball him, and God knows what happens. All we want is consistency, as per to the last comment. Yeah, I'm just baffled. Maresca brought Santos on for the lap. It was almost like he was trying to see out the draw. Yeah, I understand this question, but at the same time, I'm like, did you feel like the lap was going to score? You know, I tweeted this at halftime. I think at halftime, we should have taken Palmer off for Andre Santos. That's what I think we should have done at halftime at 2-2. Because I think part of why we were struggling was because we didn't have legs in midfield. And when we have Caicedo alone on a yellow after 4 minutes, Enzo being essentially overplayed, and Palmer injured and not being able to run, I think we needed to bring Enzo on for Andre on for Palmer, drop Andre deeper, and have Enzo higher, and I think that would have been better. But if the manager did that, you don't call him stupid. Like I see here, the Chelsea boy says the Maresca subs were very questionable tonight. Were they? Did you feel that? I didn't. Reece James coming on at halftime makes a lot of sense. Pedro Neto coming on, and not for Estevao, but for Garnacho. Fine by me. Doesn't sound like a crazy substitution to do. João Pedro coming on for Cole Palmer, who's been out for nearly 4 months and started back-to-back games in 72 hours, was never going to play the whole game. João Pedro coming on at 10, makes sense. Okay, the last two subs, you can maybe question a little bit. Absolutely. Like I say, Andre Santos still up. If you need a goal, wouldn't it make sense to keep your striker on? I get that. Fair enough. I don't know why he did that, if I'm honest. Probably for physicality, but I don't know. Did you have to bring Gittins on at the end for Estevao? That was baffling to me, but didn't make a difference. No, I completely disagree. I honestly think Palmer shouldn't even be starting at the moment. I think Palmer should be nowhere near the start. He's so bad. Do you not agree with this? Does it not like hurt your heart when you see the player that you've seen be so good, be so bad, and you want to keep him on the pitch? I wanted to take him off at half time. I honestly did. And to be fair, he started to play like the Cole Palmer that I know. Literally, as soon as he saw João Pedro get ready, as soon as he saw, shit, I'm coming off, he started to try harder. That's what I felt like. As soon as he saw he was coming off, he started to try. I was like, where was that the whole time? I honestly, by the time he scored the penalty in the first half, I didn't even see him on the pitch until that point. I don't know, bro, you're Cole Palmer. I know you're not fit, but either you play or you're not, you know? So it's Garnacho, but we have to watch him have a stinker. Yeah, of course. But we know Palmer can be better, should be better. And in the middle, we actually have options. Out wide, we don't. Was out of gas, lost handful of attacks. He's just getting bodied off the ball. I understand it. Yeah, but by that point, there was 3 minutes left. You know, by that point, I just needed the player that is more likely to produce a moment of magic. And even a tired Estevao is more likely to do that. He's got to get fully match fit. Easy, man. Yeah, exactly. Mikel was allowed to make this team in his image. Our manager, Arteta, has to work with kids and some players that are just going to not going good enough for Chelsea yet. Palmer didn't get much of the ball. What are his stats? Good question. Let's look at those. He had 40 touches. Was the most foul player. 25 out of 28 passes, 2 chances created, 1 out of 2 shots, 1 out of 4 dribbles, 2 out of 3 long balls, no crosses, 5 out of 6 ground deals was very good. But this is part of it though. Didn't get much of the ball. That's why I feel he's not ready. Because I am seeing Cole Palmer not demand the ball, and that's weird for me. You know what I mean? That's weird. I'm going to leave it on this. Johnny says, I am just not a fan. I just am not of a fan sometimes at the way we play. We're drawing or losing. We play with the ball out the back like we're 5-0 up and looking like we can't get through teams at all. Yeah, I get that. I answered this kind of earlier where I'm like, I understand that's how you train how to break teams down. If you start higher up, it's more about chaos ball. And a Pep Guardiola disciple isn't going to want chaos ball. It's not going to want to. Palmer and maybe Estevao could benefit from that, from more chaos ball. But as a team, I would not. Would you sell Palmer and Fernandez? No. Here you're watching. He was playing. What game were you watching? Palmer, great. What are your standards for Palmer? Yeah, he doesn't even shoot. Have you seen the last few weeks? He doesn't even shoot. And I think it's because his groin hurts him. I think that's why he doesn't shoot. By the way, on Enzo, if we got a crazy offer of Real Madrid, 120, 130 million, which I don't think we will anymore, because I think our own fans ruined the reputation of our players, which is why we then get less transfer value for them. So that's smart of our fans, isn't it? But anyway, if we got a crazy high offer, yeah, I would take that. I would take that. But I don't think we're getting that, so then I wouldn't sell him. Palmer, no. Now, I mean, if Palmer played like he has the last few weeks for the next 2 years straight, yeah, then sure. But currently, he's very much coming in back from an injury. You'd swap Enzo for Bellingham, but it's a pipe dream. I don't know, man. I don't really like Bellingham. I think Bellingham has got way too much of an ego. I think Bellingham is a player that causes problems. The fact that Tuchel doesn't call him up for the England squad sometimes tells me everything I need to know. It really tells me everything I need to know. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I thought I was going to keep this one short. And after half an hour, I was like, shit, I need to keep talking for a bit longer. And now we're on over an hour. So appreciate every single one of you that has, like, you know, made it interesting. I like interacting. A shout out to Johnny, shout out to Couture Criminal, shout out to Fanboy Collins, Faban Collins. See, just what the brain does. The Ricky as well, Spanish Ricky, Fundamentally Blue. Appreciate you. The other Ricky as well, the Chelsea boy. Appreciate you all for interacting. Rich Money as well. Rich Money Makers. Appreciate you all. Like I said one more time, hit the like button, please. I massively appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have a nice New Year's Eve tomorrow and then a great start into 2026. And then we play City on Sunday without Moise Caicedo because he got himself suspended. Brilliant. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, here's to I don't really know what I was going to say. Here's to a better 2025, but we want 2 trophies. Honestly, I don't think we're winning 2 trophies again. So yeah, hey, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the last day of the year. Take all the positivity you can, all the optimism you can into next year. Let's try to be united as a fan base. Let's try to be united as a football club. Let's be against the sport directors. Let's be against Benedict Barley. Let's not let our anger out on the manager or individual players whose fault it isn't. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean they do everything right, by the way, when I say that. And, you know, like things like, yeah, I kind of agree. Why, when you need a goal, do you take a striker off for a midfielder? I don't really agree with that either. But I still don't think it's the main issue. So that's why I don't think it's what I need to start out with complaining about. But yeah, just try to be as positive as we can, guys. We move on upwards and onwards. Thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I will see you next time.